You can't just make this stuff up, man. You simply can't. I mean, we've been here and seen pretty much everything in the last 2 years time frame, right? So you will think nothing can surprise you anymore. But guess what? Things things can still get very, very, very surprising, even with all the shenanigans we've been seeing in this stock. Look, I'm going to share something about what happened today, and actually, we're going to see exactly how, instead of kind of getting people to be depressed and to lose hope, it's actually very, very, very bullish. Because if you think about it, it pretty much lays out the rationale behind why this thing will do exactly what it's supposed to do in due time. That is the in due time part, which we don't know and we can't know because nobody can predict the future. But I'm going to share with you, and at the end of this short video, hopefully, if you were still doubting that this thing will pop, maybe it will make you a little bit more decisive. All right, because as I mentioned, you can't make this stuff up. Look, yesterday AMC dropped 11%. All right. In the last 5 days, it's down 26% on no news. Of course, the market, volatility market is up and down, but the company in itself, we have nothing. But why is it down 26%? Well, for obvious reason, shorts being short. All right. But when the stock was here on the 746, or maybe should I say, on the 8th, all right, somewhere here, right? December 6th. So since December 5th, from 8 to now where we are, it lost 26%, right? Just in a matter of 3 days, 26%. A bunch of this is due or was due yesterday to some fake news around AMC Networks, which has nothing to do with AMC Entertainment as a company. But the media use this, as you can see here, that the media use this to actually kind of give the idea to the people that, hey, AMC is on the, brink of filing bankruptcy. And this is what happened, pretty much at the beginning of this whole short squeeze thing, right? Because when they started spreading rumors of the company getting bankrupt and everything, that's when they started shouting into oblivion. And that's when the ape army got into this and retailers bought this in boatload, all right? Which caused the shorts to get squeezed out. And then it ran from, $2 a piece to, $77 a share. Now, if it was another stock, if it was another company, which, by the way, the company, and I shared it with you on a video I posted yesterday, the company came out yesterday and said there is no rumors, there is no fact behind this news on the company, filing bankruptcy or, having lenders organizing against some sort of restructuration, because, that only happens if you are, having some credit issue or some debt issue and you cannot pay your bills. But that is not the case for the company. As a matter of fact, they're sitting on, $1 billion worth of cash money, and they have, paid some interest and renegotiated some of the loans that they have on the long term. And I believe for the next 2 or 3 years, they don't have to repay anything, if not interest only. All right. So if it was a Tesla company, or if it was Cinemark, or if it was, I don't know, one small company, if it was any other company besides AMC, the media or the medias, all the, news outlet that reported this news should have come forward and put out an article to cancel what they said earlier. But nothing happened. If you scan AMC stock news on Google, you'll see nothing as such. And why is that? Is it just like, journalism today, that we are spreading fake news, like news that are not true at all? And they are letting it slide just because it's AMC, the retail most favorite stock? Ask yourself the question, why is that. I mean, it came down to pretty much straight up lying, because this is a lie. Stating something that is not true is a lie until, you come out and say, I'm sorry, that was fake news, that was not accurate, that was not fact, this is the reality. But no, nothing. I haven't seen a Benziga article. I haven't seen a Investor Place article. I haven't seen a Market Watch article. I haven't seen none of those. Yet the stock that lost 11% yesterday because of that news was supposed to recover today, and at some point it did, only to what, up 9%, just to kind of fade slowly and gradually till the very last minute. At some point it was even going red. Can you imagine this? Red for the day. It's just ridiculous. So the bottom line here is, and this is the part where, it shows how bullish this thing is. If you were doubting that AMC is the most manipulated stock, or one of the most manipulated stock in the market right now, this is clear evidence of that. And because it is the most manipulated stock and people are still behind it, people are still rooting for AMC, people are still behind the company, people are still against whatever the shorts and the other side is doing, not only by supporting, watching, following, obviously watching this video, but they are also buying. I mean, just look at Fidelity, Schwab, or whatever, Webull, Mumu, and look at the top 10 most bought stock on the major exchanges, and you will see that AMC is still part of that top 10 list. So at the end of the day, it will only take, because there is so much manipulation in here, it just only needs to take something like a black swan event, something that nobody expected, something like a recession, something like interest rate going to 10%, something like, oil going to $150 or $110 or $200 a barrel. Or I don't know, Donald Trump being president in the next, I don't know, or, short sellers using FTX or another FTX to happen. As a matter of fact, they even use FTX to manipulate AMC stock. So it only takes one of those black swan events to actually be the drop that will be the extra drop, the extra too much drop on the well, and it would just make things like squeeze out. When would that happen? We just don't know, because if we knew, then we'll just max out all the credit cards, put the house, put everything into this play, because but unfortunately that's not how it works, right? But the bottom line here is, it's just ridiculous, and nobody seems to care. I mean, all the money that people are putting in, buying, holding, all this energy and effort is not going to go to waste, because nothing is wasted in life. It's just like, a chemical principle. It's simply a chemical principle. All of these buys, all of this money going to the buys, and all of these people holding is creating a baseline that is gonna, when time comes, encounter all the shenanigans, all the BS, all the craps that the short sellers have been putting layers on top of layers on top of layers, and at some point it's gonna go poof, and that's when people will see that, hey, finally these guys were not as crazy as we thought they will, even though right now it seems exactly as that. But personally, that's the way I see it. I treat it as, I don't know, a long-term thing. And by long-term, I don't mean, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but just like, I am not having all my, expectations in the short term, because this is a ticking time bomb. Anytime it can happen, as I mentioned earlier. It will take another recession, interest rate going to a certain level, something that nobody, foresee happening, and then everybody shorting it and shorting it will just be get evaporated. So because of that, and because I don't need the money I have invested in this stock in the short term, I have the ability to kind of wait, even though all my profits have been evaporated right now. But sometimes at the price, you're willing to pay just to see, the end of the tunnel. So let's see where this thing goes. But yeah, you can see that it's just mind blowing, man.